that we need to get things going. Because as you talked about earlier, you talked about the prospective acres report came out on Thursday, and this is the first time in a long time where corn wasn't the leading crop being planted, and it goes back to your input cost part of it. And you start looking at soybeans and what goes in there, and it's spraying season, right? So you got all these sprayers out running around and starting looking at those kind of things. And I just had a conversation with a guy today, and this is why I want to talk to you about it, because I need some floats on sprayers. It's so many different schools of thought there when you start looking at floats on tires or on sprayers. Some guys like 800, some guys want 710, some guys want 650s. I mean, there's all these different things out there. When you're talking to your customer about floats for sprayers, what's that target you're looking for, and how do you have that conversation?
Most of the guys that I deal with here in the South, I have a very small flotation tire customer base. Mm-hmm. Most of it is in the Oklahoma area. Gotcha. There are a lot of guys there. 650s tend to be the most popular. A few guys run the 710s. Pretty much when you go farther south, farther east, all these guys are on beds. Mm-hmm. They're either on 30-inch beds, 38-inch beds. About the only time they would run a flotation tire, and I would say probably a 520 would be considered a flotation tire for those guys. So, but they're trying to fit down rows. They're trying not to disturb their beds. So it really just depends on what part of the country I'm in. You go farther south, farther east, those guys are on 520s. The guys up in the my upper territory, there's some guys that run floats up there. But for the most part, what we see with a lot of these guys is when the beauty behind flotation tires for my customer, they're only running them a short period of time during the year.
Yep.
So the it's always great to sell a set of flotation tires. The downside of that, it could, they could last them 5 or 6 years. So it might actually be about 5 or 6 years before you get another sell on.
Yep. That's the one thing here too, is where flotation tires are so they're not a constant either. It really depends on really what the weather situation is like at the time. So hopefully we can get some soft ground so we can use those flotation tires. If not, even out here, it's so sandy soil, sometimes having a set of floats aren't that bad of a thing to keep you on top of the ground for sure. So